My name is Hadi. Today I want to show you how you can make a parsing table for L1 grammar, and then we will show you an example of string that it might be accepted or rejected in this L1 grammar. So we have example here. So the first step is that we need to find the first for each symbol. So we need to find what is the first of E. First of E, to find first of E, we need to find first of T. So what is the first of T? We should look for first of F. So right here we can find it as a left parenthesis and ID. So it could be equal to left parenthesis and ID. Okay, for first of E prime, as you can see here, we have two terminal here. So it could be equal to plus and epsilon. For first of T, we should go for first of F, and it would be equal to left parenthesis and ID. And first of T prime is obviously star and epsilon. For first of F, we have very obvious left parenthesis and ID. So we have the first of each symbol. Now we need to go for the follow one. Following part, we should find each symbol in our right side, but we need to be careful because E as a first symbol, as a starting symbol, always has to have a dollar sign. Okay. So next, we should find the E in right side. That, as you can see, we have it right here. So what symbol follow E? So as you can see is right parenthesis. For E prime, so the same. We should find E prime in the right side. So in this case, we have nothing in we have nothing to follow E prime. So in this case, we have to come back for E. So what is the follow of E? The follow of E, as you can see here, is dollar parenthesis. Okay, for follow of T, as you can see here, we have T here and here. So what follow T in both cases? So it's E prime. So we should go for follow of E prime. But we need to be careful about sigma. Because we have sigma here and we cannot have sigma, so technically we have to go for first of E prime. But the point is that we cannot have a sigma in follow set. So what we should do, we should go for first of E minus epsilon, and then union this with follow of E prime and follow of E. So in this case, in this way, we are able to subtract the sigma, the epsilon from the follow set, because as I said, we cannot have an epsilon in follow set. So also first of E prime, we have it right there. That is plus sigma and then we should subtract the sigma because of this, and then union this with fall of E. So what is the fall of E? Is dollar sign and close parenthesis, right parenthesis. So final answer, it could be plus dollar sign and right parenthesis. Okay. The next symbol is fall of T prime. So what is the fall of T prime? Again, you should to find the T prime, as you can see here in this case, for example, there is nothing on right side of the T prime, so we should go back for T. So what is the fall of T? So we have it right here. So fall of T is plus, so let me make it more clear. So it's fall of T, and we don't need to concern this one, because in this case it comes back to T prime, so we don't need to look at that. So fall of T prime, as you have it right here, it's equal to plus dollar and right parenthesis. And the last symbol is fall of F. Okay, so we have F here and here. In both cases, we have T prime in the right side. So we should go for first of T prime. So what is the first of T prime? Is left parenthesis and ID. Unfortunately, we have no sigma here, epsilon here, so we don't need to be concerned about that. So it could be equal to first of T prime, that is plus dollar sign and close parenthesis. So far we have first set and the follow set. Now we are able to with follow and first set make the table. What is the follow of T? As you can see here, it's plus dollar sign close parenthesis. So final answer is star plus dollar sign close parenthesis. That's it. Now we are able with the first set and follow set go for parsing table. So now for the parsing table, we need to have a symbol in the left side and the terminal on the bottom. So we have E prime, T prime, and F. And terminals are ID plus star and also we have dollar sign, and for the last one is open and close parenthesis. Okay, so in order to fill the table, we need to see if we be in E state, or if we be in E symbol and we face ID, where we should go. So first we need to check first set. as you can see in first set, we have ID. So we are in the first set, we are in a E set, we face ID, so we should go for this grammar. So we can say E goes to T E prime. So what else we have in E? We have left parenthesis, so we can use the same rule for this one also. So E goes to T E prime. Fortunately, because we have no epsilon here, we don't need to check the follow set. But be careful, if we have epsilon, we have to check follow set also. So we put nothing here. Then we go for E prime. So for E prime, we have plus. So we can go for second rule. So E prime goes to plus T E prime. However, as I said, we have to be careful because we have epsilon here. When we have epsilon here, we have to check the fall of E also. So what is the fall of E? Is dollar and right parenthesis. So where we can find dollar?
Okay.
So in this case, as I said, because we have epsilon right here, we need to check the follow set. In follow set, we have dollar sign and right parenthesis. So in this case, we can say instead of this rule happen. So it's like for dollar sign that we have it here, we can say E prime goes to epsilon. And for right parenthesis, same. And that's it. For a T, if we face ID, first we need to check first of T. We have ID, we have left parenthesis. So we go for the T rules, as we have it right there. So F, T prime, and for left parenthesis we have T, F, and T prime. And because we have no epsilon, we don't need to go for the follow set. For the T prime, we have a star, so we go for this rule, as we have it right here, star T prime, so we can say T prime goes to star F and T prime.
But we have epsilon here also, so we need to, we have epsilon right here, so we need to check the fall of T prime, so we have plus dollar and right parenthesis. So for plus dollar and right parenthesis, we can say T prime goes to epsilon. That's it. Okay, the last one is F. We have F right here, there's no epsilon, so we don't need to go for follow set. So we just need to check this one. So for ID, we can say F goes to ID. We have it right here. And for left parenthesis, we can say F goes to open parenthesis E and close parenthesis. That's it.
So now we have the parsing table for LL1. So now if we have a string, we are able to put it in a stack and check it that is acceptable or not. So in the following, we will explain how to put the string in a stack and then check it with the table and make sure that is acceptable.
I am going. My name is Abhijit, and I am going to
take an example of a string and I'll pass it through this LL1 table and we'll check that if the string will get accepted or not. So my example is so this is a string. So we'll take 3 columns. So first one will be the stack, which will be which will maintain the parsing of the grammar, and this will be the input, and this will be the action. Action is the which part of the grammar will be implemented so that we can pass the string to pass the string. So first we'll start with we'll start with dollar and E. So E is this first grammar, so we'll start with E. So the first initially the input will be the same. Okay, so now we'll have to check with E with the first input. So what is the first input? It is the open parenthesis. So E with open parenthesis is TE bar. Okay, 1 second. It is ET, so it is E raised to TE bar. So action will be E TE bar. Okay, so again we'll write it over here. Oh, 1 second. No, it's okay. Okay, so the E will be replaced by TE bar. So we'll write it in the reverse form because stack we'll write it in the reverse form, and still the input will be same because still we didn't get the opening parenthesis. So now for T, it will be, so now we have to pass from 3 because we didn't get the open parenthesis. So for T it is FT bar. So we'll replace, so in the next step we'll write the action which we are going to perform. Okay, so now in the next step we'll replace T with FT bar. Okay, the string will still be the same because still we didn't get the opening parenthesis. So now again we got F. So for F it will be this this grammar. We'll use this grammar because we'll get the opening parenthesis from there. So F. Oh, once again I write it properly so that you won't get confused. So for F it will gonna be opening parenthesis E, closing parenthesis. Okay, so for F I am going to replace with E bar, T bar, F. So we'll write it in the reverse form, closing parenthesis E and opening parenthesis.
So now we got input. So now we got the first character opening parenthesis. So we'll cancel it off, and the rest remaining input will be ID into ID plus ID. So ID into ID closing parenthesis plus ID. So now I'll write it pop. So now we need to pop. The next action is to pop this opening parenthesis because we got the opening parenthesis from here. So pop. So we'll pop opening parenthesis from the stack. Now dollar E or T bar opening parenthesis. E. That's it. Okay, now the input will be ID, multiplication sign, ID, closing parenthesis plus ID. Okay, now for E and ID, we'll have to check in the table. For E and ID is again TE bar. So we need to write the action E, T, T, E bar. We want to perform this action. So now we'll replace this E from T, E bar. Okay. But still we didn't get the ID, so we'll write it as it is. So now for T, we'll go with FT bar. Oh, I'll write it. So for T, it's gonna be FT bar. Okay. So dollar sign E bar, closing parenthesis E bar, T is T bar F. So still we didn't get the ID, so we'll write it as it is. So now for F, for ID we got an ID, so it's just the direct implementation. Okay. So now in the next step, we got an ID, so we'll pop this F out of the stack. So the next section will be pop F from stack. Okay, so now we pop the F from the stack, and the next input will again pop an ID from here, so it will be into ID closing parenthesis plus ID. Okay, so now for T dash we need to check with multiplication sign. So now we are checking for T prime with an input multiplication. So for T prime and multiplication we will select star FT prime. So our next action will be T prime star FT prime. Okay. So T prime will be star FT prime. So we substitute T prime over here. Dollar T prime will be T prime F star. So as you can see, we got a star. We got a multiplication sign over here. So our next action will be to pop a star from the stack. So we'll write it as it is. So pop star from stack. Okay, so now we have popped the stack from stack. A prime, T prime, T prime F. Okay, so now next input will be ID, closing parenthesis plus ID. So for F and ID, for grammar F and input ID, for ID, again it's F ID. So we're gonna do F ID. Okay, so dollar E prime, T prime, ID. ID as the input will be as it is. Okay, so now we are going to pop ID from the stack since we got an ID into the stack. So pop ID from stack. Okay. So now E prime. So now the input will be closing parenthesis plus ID. Okay, now for T prime with closing parenthesis, we have an epsilon. For this grammar. So it's T prime. One second. T prime goes to epsilon. So now we are going to substitute dollar T prime, closing parenthesis, T prime epsilon.
So when we got T dash goes to epsilon, so we actually cannot insert an epsilon into T prime, so we are gonna just skip it. We just gonna pop T prime from the stack. So
T prime, and the input will be only plus ID. So now
yeah. So we still didn't get the closing parenthesis because it's an epsilon. So we'll just pop an T prime from the stack. So pop T prime from stack. So dollar E prime T prime closing parenthesis E prime. Okay. So now the input will again be closing parenthesis plus ID. So E prime with closing parenthesis, as you can see, is again epsilon. So E prime goes to epsilon. So as we get an epsilon, we'll again have to pop E prime from the stack.
So E prime, T prime, closing parenthesis, and the input will be still the same. So as you can see, we got a closing parenthesis matching. So now I'm going to pop this right parenthesis from the stack. So it's going to be E prime, T prime, and as we remove the closing parenthesis from here, so the input will only be plus ID and dollar sign. Okay. So now we're going to check T prime with dollar sign. Oh sorry, T prime with plus sign. So T prime with plus sign is T prime tends to epsilon. So T prime tends with epsilon. So now again we are gonna substitute it with T prime with epsilon. So it's gonna get out from the stack. So it's gonna be dollar and E prime. And the input. So still we didn't get the input with a plus. So again we'll check with plus ID dollar.
So now we're gonna substitute T prime with epsilon. So we're gonna remove T prime. So dollar E prime and will be plus ID dollar. Okay, so now for E prime with plus sign, so there is as you can see there is no operation for that, so we cannot go further with this string. So that means the string will get rejected by this grammar. So we're gonna write rejected. So again, if this there would be an operation for e prime with plus, then we can go for then we could have gone further. And at the end, you need to in the input there has to be just dollar sign, and in the string in the stack there has to be dollar sign. So if we get dollar sign at the end, that means that the string will be accepted by this grammar. This string is rejected, and there are two main key points while performing LL parsing, is that if a grammar is the grammar should not have left recursion. So the grammar should have not have left recursion. And it should be non-ambiguous. So if your grammar is left, if your grammar has left recursion or not, and it is and if it is ambiguous, sorry, I'm going wrong. So it should not be ambiguous. So if these two conditions are not satisfied, then you cannot do LL1 parsing. And yes, that's it.